I've got the most incredible recipe for these little cheesy snacks called gougères. They're so easy to make, they're so delicious, and you won't stop eating them. Gougère is just a really fancy French term for cheese puffs, or maybe in a past life I would have called them cheesy puffs. That's neither here nor there. It's essentially pâte à choux dough that's loaded up with cheese. We're gonna do a little prep. Sound good? Let's bake. You know I'm all about mise en place, which means everything in its place, so when it's time to cook, I am good to go. We're going to start off this recipe by finely grating up some comté cheese. This is a French cheese. It is incredibly similar to gruyere. It's really, really tasty. I'm grating it right on some parchment paper just because it's easy to move around. You can do it on a plate or whatever you've got. Set it to the side, then we're going over to our cooktop. Let's add on a medium-sized sauce pot. We are going to pour in about a cup of cold water, immediately followed up by adding in 1 stick of unsalted cold butter. We, of course, are going to season it ourselves with a pinch of sea salt. Make sure to do this step. We want these savory little treats to be very seasoned. Now begin to stir this over medium-low heat. We're not trying to bring it to a boil. All we really need to do is melt the butter and make sure the liquid is hot. At this point, we are going to pour in our all-purpose flour. I know at the very beginning it's going to seem like this is an incredibly dry batter. Stick with it. Continue to stir it. It will all come together. It will loosen up. It will soften up, and you'll notice that the hydration or the liquid in this recipe will bring it back to that nice soft choux dough that we're looking for. Once it is to this consistency, let's simply remove it from the heat. No need to keep it on there anymore. And now what I'm going to do is add in 1 large egg at a time. And we do this so that it can be completely mixed in. The dough really loosens up after you add that egg, so it's incredibly important just to do it 1 at a time. The dough will become super soft and velvety. It looks fantastic. And a good way to know that I know choux is done is if I lift it up and it sort of slowly drips off like this, I'm perfect. Now we're going to add in some of our grated comté cheese. Don't add all of it in, maybe 3/4 or so, because we're going to save some for the end, and mix it in. It should be plenty hot to melt it in there. And let me stop and say you can absolutely alter this recipe with whatever cheese that you have. While it is traditional to use a comté, you can also use gruyere. You could use Swiss, Parmesan, Pecorino, even a cheddar if that's what you've got. Check out your fridge, see what's in there, and use. Once the cheese is completely melted into the batter, it's incredibly classic to add a little bit of nutmeg, so I'm going to freshly grate that in there. Another ingredient would be cayenne or even a little pepper, but I want to serve these up to my daughter, and I don't want them to be too spicy. So mix those ingredients together until combined. All right, now that the dough is done, this is going to move super fast because we need to pipe them up, brush them up, put cheese on them, throw them in the oven, so pay close attention. Here we go. Now what we need to do is transfer the pâte à choux dough into a piping bag. I've got a large round tip I'm going to put at the bottom of the bag. Yes, you can absolutely use a disposable bag if you have one. And then holding the bag on one side with it folded over, I'm going to get a big old scoop of that dough, and I'm going to put it right down in there. And it's funny because I sort of use the bag as a mouth to sort of grip and take off all of the dough off of my wooden spoon, just like this, sort of, ow, take a bite. That's as easy as that. Now to use the bag, I pinch the top right where the dough seems to stop, and then I twist it until the bottom part of the bag becomes very firm. I give it a little squeeze. If some comes out very easily with no chunks, I know I'm good to go. And now head right over to a sheet tray lined with parchment paper because we're going to pipe out some of that dough. I like to do these about 1.5 inches in diameter. It's okay if they're pointy at the top. Don't sweat it because we're going to come back and put a little egg wash over top to help them brown, and we'll sort of pat them down then. So don't worry if they get that little peak at the top. Go over to a little bowl. We're going to add in an egg yolk. Hit it with just a little bit of cold water, and then using a fork or a whisk, whatever you've got, mix it together until it's completely combined because we are going to use this as egg wash, like I said, to help brown them up. Go ahead and pat them down a little bit. Make sure that egg wash covers them completely. It's going to really make them gorgeously golden brown. And then, of course, to finish them off, I've got some of that leftover comté that I told you to set aside. Just put a little bit over the top. This is just going to add a nice little touch, help brown them up, and add some nice salty, delicious, cheesy flavors. We're heading over to the oven on 400 degrees. It's going to take in between 20 and 25 minutes for these to completely cook. Now that they're in the oven, we can take a break and catch our breath a little bit. If you're asking the question, yes, this is essentially churro dough. It's pâte à choux. It's also cream puffs without the filling. It's about understanding these little fundamental techniques like making a choux dough and knowing that it can be used in different things, as a sweet, as a savory, as an appetizer. You start incorporating this into all of your cooking, into all of your cuisine, and it is going to be far better than anything in the restaurants or the stores, and everyone in your block is going to be beating down your doors to try your food. Now, go ahead and remove our gruyères from the oven. They look fantastic, perfectly golden brown, so let's eat them right away and plate up in slow-mo. I'm just going to add these to a bowl. You can put them on a plate, whatever you want to serve them in, even a little basket. It'd be a great side dish to a main meal. If you have a little leftover fresh grated comté, fantastic. You could also finish it with some fresh chives or parsley. Check out these beauties. Just like I said earlier, these are so hard to put down and hard to stop eating. They are amazing. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and definitely check out this video because that recipe is so good. And I'll see you on there.